Hello everyone, I'm Peak. In the last episode, we saw Jasin, Justia, and Dante infiltrate the royal city and uncover shocking conspiracies. Today, we'll continue their adventure and see how they face even greater challenges. Otome Game Rebellion: The World is Too Real. Chapter 9. Army of Puppets.
Jasin stood atop the high tower, overlooking the entire royal city. Since becoming the new world administrator, he could feel his power growing day by day, especially his ability to control puppets. "Are you really going to do this?" Justia stood beside him, her eyes filled with concern. Jasin nodded firmly. "We must be prepared. Although the higher dimensional beings are only observing for now, we don't know when they might take action." Just a few days ago, they discovered signs of instability within the royal city. Some important figures who were supposed to act according to the world script, such as royal family members and high-ranking officials, began to exhibit abnormal behavior. Their words and actions became unpredictable, sometimes even completely contradicting their original character settings. "This could be a sign that the world system is starting to collapse," Jasin explained. "Those pre-programmed NPCs are beginning to lose control, their behavior no longer constrained by the script." Justia frowned. "If even those important figures start to lose control, the order of the entire royal city will soon collapse." Dante stepped forward, holding a vial of glowing blue potion. "This is my latest magic amplification potion," he said. "It should help you maintain puppet control for a longer time." Jasin gratefully accepted the potion and drank it in one gulp. Instantly, he felt a warm current spreading throughout his body, his magical power and imagination reaching unprecedented heights. "It's time to show our strength." Jasin took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and began to concentrate. As his will spread, the entire royal city seemed to come alive. Countless puppets began to appear on the streets, rooftops, and even in dark alleys. Some were small, delicate wooden puppets, some were majestic stone statues, and others were agile metal automatons. They silently distributed themselves throughout every corner of the city, ready to respond to any potential crisis. Justia and Dante watched this scene, their faces showing admiration. "It's quite a spectacle," Dante commented. "It seems your abilities have indeed improved significantly since becoming the world administrator." Although Justia didn't have the ability to control puppets, her keen observation skills made her a valuable assistant to Jasin. "Jasin, there's a group of people gathering in the southwest direction. They look like they're plotting something," she reminded him. "Perhaps we should send some puppets to monitor them." Jasin nodded, immediately directing a few small wooden puppets to secretly infiltrate that area. Through these eyes, they quickly grasped the movements of that group. Meanwhile, the ordinary residents of the city reacted differently to the sudden appearance of the puppet army. Some were terrified, hiding in their homes and not daring to go out. Others were curious about these lifelike puppets, even trying to interact with them. Some people recognized this as Jasin's ability and began to discuss among themselves, speculating whether something big had happened. "It seems we need to reassure the public," Justia suggested. "Otherwise, it might cause panic." Jasin agreed with this suggestion. He controlled some puppets to patrol the city while explaining to residents that this was just a routine security drill to ensure the safety of the city. Although this explanation didn't completely eliminate people's concerns, it at least avoided large-scale panic. Just then, Alan rushed over. "I just inspected other areas of the city," he said, panting. "The situation is worse than we imagined. Several noble families have already begun to secretly gather private armies. It looks like they want to seize power in the chaos." Jasin's expression became serious. "It seems we don't have much time. Alan, go notify the city guard to stay alert. Dante, continue researching how to stabilize the world system. Justia, I need you to help me monitor the city's movements." Everyone accepted their tasks and quickly set into action. Jasin closed his eyes again, concentrating on controlling the puppets spread throughout the city. He could feel the presence of each puppet, as if they were extensions of his body. Suddenly, a commotion came from the east side of the city. Jasin immediately dispatched a team of stone statue puppets to investigate. Through the puppets' eyes, he saw a group of armed personnel trying to break into a noble mansion. "It seems the rebellion has begun," Jasin muttered. He quickly commanded the puppets to surround the armed group while dispatching another team of puppets to protect the residents inside the mansion. Over the next few hours, similar incidents occurred throughout the city. Jasin's puppet army rushed back and forth across the city, preventing violent conflicts, protecting innocent civilians, and maintaining order. Despite the tense situation, large-scale chaos and casualties were successfully avoided due to the intervention of the puppet army. As the sky gradually darkened, Jasin remained standing on the high tower, focusing on controlling hundreds of puppets. Justia assisted him at his side, occasionally reminding him of new developments in the city. "Can you still hold on?" Justia asked worriedly. Jasin nodded, his forehead covered in sweat. "We must keep going. We can't let this world fall into chaos." Just then, Dante rushed to the top of the tower, clutching what appeared to be an ancient metal disc. "I have an important discovery," he said excitedly. "Remember those strange devices we found in the former World Administrator's cave? I finally figured out their purpose." He carefully displayed the disc in his hand. Its surface was covered with complex runes, with a semi-transparent crystal in the center. When Dante lightly touched the crystal, the disc suddenly emitted a soft blue light, projecting a holographic image. "This seemingly ancient device is actually a high-tech data storage unit," Dante explained. "It records important information about the world system. According to this data, I discovered that this world is actually composed of a series of hidden nodes." Jasin and Justia leaned in to observe the holographic image, which showed a complex network structure. "Do you remember that mysterious ruin we explored before?" Dante continued. "I'm now certain that it's one of the important nodes. If we can activate enough nodes, it might be possible to enter the core of the world system," Jasin said. "So, the core of the world system isn't a fixed place, but a network composed of these nodes?" Dante nodded in confirmation. "Exactly. I believe if we can simultaneously activate enough nodes, we'll be able to enter the system core, thus having a chance to stabilize the entire world system." Jasin carefully studied the node network in the holographic image, suddenly realizing something. "Wait," he said. "If these nodes are really that important, then those out-of-control NPCs might have already noticed. We must act quickly." Justia nodded in agreement. "That's right, and we also need to consider the possible reactions of the higher-dimensional beings. Although they're only observing now, we don't know if activating these nodes will attract their attention." Dante put away the metal disc, his expression grave. "According to my analysis, we need to activate 5 main nodes to enter the system core. Interestingly, these nodes are all concentrated within the boundaries of our kingdom." Jasin frowned and thought, "This is indeed strange. Since becoming the world administrator, I can sense the entire world, far beyond the boundaries of this kingdom." "Why are the nodes only here?" Justia said. "Could it be because this kingdom is the stage for the entire Otome game? After all the main characters and events we know of happen here." "You're right." Jasin had a sudden realization. "This kingdom might be a microcosm of the entire game world. Naturally, the system's core nodes would be concentrated here," Dante added. "This also explains why the world's instability first manifested here. If we can stabilize the system within the kingdom, it might affect the entire world." Jasin agreed. "Exactly. Although I can sense a broader world, we must now focus on this kingdom. This is the center of everything." Jasin closed his eyes, concentrating, trying to sense the world beyond the kingdom. He could feel distant mountains, vast plains, and deep oceans. Those places seemed relatively stable, without the turmoil occurring within the kingdom. But he also detected some strange, blank areas, as if there was no life at all. Jasin murmured. "Most places outside the kingdom seem normal, but some places are completely void." Justia and Dante exchanged a worried glance. "What does that mean?" Justia asked. "I'm not sure," Jasin replied. "But I suspect those blank areas might be the result of the world system collapsing. If we can't stop it in time, the entire world might become like that. Then, they began to discuss how to allocate tasks to activate these 5 nodes. Jasin realized that although his perception range far exceeded the kingdom, effectively controlling distant puppets in a short time was still a challenge. "We must concentrate our forces," Jasin said. "I'll focus most of my attention within the kingdom, but at the same time, I'll send some puppets to the kingdom's borders to monitor potential external threats." Justia and Dante agreed with this plan. They knew that their next actions would determine the fate of this world. And they, as intruders from another world, now bore the responsibility of saving this one. As night fell, the 3 of them returned to the top of the high tower. Jasin's puppet army continued to patrol the city, maintaining a fragile peace. And the 3 of them began to make final preparations for the challenges that lay ahead.
Alright, that's the content of Chapter 9. Jasin's abilities are becoming more and more impressive, but the crises they face are also growing larger. Do you think they can successfully save this world? Please tell me your thoughts in the comments section. I'm Peak, and I'll see you next time.